Ride or die.
So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm asking a very simple question. I see these Range Rover Sports literally everywhere. I do the school run and I see probably 10 of these in a 15-minute journey. So it is a question that I wanted to bring up. Why are these everywhere? Why do people buy them? So today I've actually grabbed this one, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through a walk around straight away, because I think that's where this car really needs to start. It isn't necessarily about the drive, because they drive fantastic. I've just driven it here. So impressive how it drives, but it's really down to like the details and stuff, especially with this facelift model. So I'll go through exactly what the facelift means, because if you are, you know, maybe looking to buy one of these, maybe you'll notice subtle little differences from the pre-facelift to this one. Now this is a 2021 model with just 2,000 miles on it. Literally isn't even running. It is brand new, this thing. You know, I've like my 4x4s, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan. I know a lot of people out there don't necessarily like this sort of stuff, but I thought grabbing this one, enjoying it, seeing what it's like, because literally they are everywhere. If you know the UK at all, or America especially, these are everywhere. So we're going to start with a couple of features that I found that I've noticed from the pre-facelift to the facelift, mainly being front ends, lot nicer, deeper grills and stuff. Now this one I am going to say is actually a relatively base spec one. You can see by the 20-inch wheels and the thick tyres, it does mean that it drives, you know, comfort wise is really high on this. It hasn't got running boards at all or side steps. It hasn't really got anything in the sense of like the vents and stuff. These vents don't vent whatsoever. They're just literally for show. Getting this one and actually bringing it to the channel is a bit more of a reality for maybe someone wanted to go and lease this. Maybe, you know, doing well, you're in your 30s, you want something nice for your kids and stuff, and you've got a business, or, you know, you can go and finance something like this from Land Rover. You know, I think this is probably the one you're going to walk away with, because it's the best value for money in that sense. And I say value for money very softly, because these are incredibly expensive. The back end, very different to the pre-facelift. You've got these fake exhausts at the bottom, but it does make it look a lot more purposeful. But I really like these rear lights. Big difference from the pre-facelift to this facelift model. Black lights with just a nicer looking rear end, in my opinion. It just makes it look a lot more stylish. Other than that, it's pretty much the same, if I'm honest, to this one and a pre-facelift. Yes, there is many other things, but the main thing, talking point, is going to be this part. We're going to jump inside and I'm going to show you guys from, you know, a driver's point of view as to what this Range Rover is actually like, because in my opinion, this is where you're going to spend most of your time. So what I'll do is I'll actually start the truck up, or 4x4, depending on how you perceive a Range Rover, let's say. So this one has many different things, and I will turn the aircon on, because right now it is in fact the second hottest day of the year right now, so you can see why my attire is the way it is today. It's very hot. Anyway, so this is a really cool inside in comparison to the pre-facelift. You go back, have a look at the pre-facelift stuff, or you've got a pre-facelift model, you will notice a big difference just from the inside. So I'll go through a few things, one of them being this touchscreen layout. Everything is touchscreen in here, so you can touch that, you can swipe across. Has, you know, your off-road mode. It's not like you're ever going to take it off-road, let's be honest, but it's always nice just in case. You've got your maps, and the facelift model also comes with this as a screen as well, so you can actually change through this center screen and the whole thing sort of changes. So this is another cool feature that I wanted to point out. See, it says menu and, you know, up and down track and volume button. If you press the menu button, it actually physically changes on the dial, so that's really cool. And you can go through layout, panel, info, units. We'll go to layout just to show you guys, so this is the 2 dial, and then you'll go down to 1 dial, so press that and it will change, and then full map, so you can have your full map in there. This is a really cool feature that, of course, the pre-facelift model doesn't have. And I'll put it back to this one just because I think the layout is really cool with this. You also have this center screen. Now, of course, the pre-facelift would have came with a different center. Here, this actually has a touch screen, got your heated seats. It's quite a big panel as well. And another cool feature is that, say you've got your heating here, if you press the button, it actually goes to your heated seat, so it actually changes on the fly. Another thing to point out is that everything's been integrated, so say you wanted to change your heater, you actually have to go in. There isn't a dial anymore. You actually have to go in and actually physically press that and go up and down, and then press it back to actually go to, you know, say your heater control for this side of the cabin. Very cool feature. Other things to point out now the Range Rover is actually on is that this has a panoramic roof. I'm going to say that wrong. Let's say that again. Panoramic. Sorry, it's early apparently. But yeah, as you can see, it's got a glass roof, but this hasn't been optioned with a panoramic sunroof. This is just a glass roof, or a moonlight roof, or whatever they would like to call them. Range Rover these days and Rolls-Royce change very quickly what they want to call this glass roof. It's a glass roof. As driving this morning, it's okay, but I think as the sun would beat down, I would want that to open. It might create the glass greenhouse effect that you don't necessarily want. I personally would opt for that to be a proper sunroof, so it goes back. Other than that, this one has got a heated steering wheel, which is a big plus in my books. It's got the Meridian sound, which is insane. I would show you guys that, but unfortunately YouTube don't let me do that. But all in all, I am very, very impressed. As I get out, another thing to point out, say you wanted to drop the car down. I've got it in access mode at the moment. You can actually press the button down there, but these facelift models actually come with a button right here to drop the whole car down. So if you do pull up to, you know, school run or whatever you're doing, you can just press that and people can get in and out very, very easily. Other than that though, very cool thing. I do like these. You know, it is a dream car of mine. One day I will have one when I'm a proper grown up, but we're going to jump in it, see what it's like. Right, 2,228 miles this has on it. Literally no mileage at all. I like high mileage cars because they've had a life. Something with 2,000 miles on it, I genuinely have never ever seen that on a car. Anyway, start up, silence. Another thing to point out, I didn't show you guys in the walk round, is that these actually have, and the pre-facelift has, double glazing. Double glazing. I know a lot of old S-classes and stuff. I've had old S-classes that have had double glazing, but it's a cool thing to point out because sometimes you don't notice those little fine touches that some of these more luxurious car manufacturers are putting on their cars. So very, very cool thing to point out there. I must admit, right, and I know there's gonna be a lot of people maybe watching this, and this isn't the sort of thing I bring to the channel. I do have a few cars like this that are coming, and it's just really nice to see what automakers are making now, because in 20 years time, when these are actually affordable because they've depreciated a lot, it gives us an idea as to what's coming. And this sort of car, say in 15 years time, and it's a good finance deal, they've done their depreciating and they've, you know, done 80,000 miles, say, or 100,000 miles or whatever, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the new cars that, you know, one day I might be able to afford and might be able to drive. So that's why I sort of take stuff like this out. It's always nice to see what new cars are like as well. Every new car is very different, I think. Although they're very refined, this is very different to, you know, a Citroen of the same sort of, you know, 21 plate generation. Anyway, we'll set the heating, or cooling, I'm going to say, just slight in the background because it is literally the hottest day. It is 9 o'clock in the morning. It's already 23 degrees in this car. So I'm going to get on. I did bring this to a industrial park because this is pretty much where this sort of thing will be. It won't be off-roading, it won't be necessarily collecting sheep or whatever. This is going to be on the school run, this car. I know it's target market, I'm not silly, I'm not stupid. It's going to be a motorway muncher as well, and unfortunately we don't have any motorways on the island. I'm going to go down a dual carriageway though, because I think that's where the silence and refinement of this Range Rover will actually come into its own. First things first about driving this thing, it isn't too bulky. I like big cars anyway, so, you know, I can't really tell the difference between a big one and, you know, a slightly large 4x4 these days, but it's very visible. I can see everything around me. The mirrors are massive on these Range Rover Sports, I always thought. Very good though, it's a good thing. It doesn't look massive from outside, but there was a lot of glass, which is always very nice. We will open this sunroof though, or moon roof or glass roof, whatever it is. It goes all the way back. Now, I did actually put an auto feature on that when you started it, it opened. So when it's been open, it will always open when you start the car, so that's another cool feature. Now, I didn't want to pitch this against a pre-facelift because I don't have one to hand, but I've dealt with a pre-facelift and driven one quite a few times now, so I do notice a fair few differences between the two, which is always quite nice. It's nice to jump in a car sometimes that you have previously driven and know pretty well, and you're driving the new one, you can, you know, or a facelift one, you can tell the difference. First thing though, and a lot of people may have noticed this in the video, the touchscreen is very, very cool, but the fingerprint marks just from me picking this Range Rover up is hilarious. I have put, you know, mark all over it, and all I've been doing is pressing a few buttons. So there is that. I would probably keep, you know, one of them sunglasses cloths that you get. I'd probably keep one of them in the car just in case, because you don't necessarily want that constantly. It doesn't look very good when the sun shines on it. Now, 70-mile limit. I will put it into sport actually, and we'll drop it into third. And it is impressively fast. That's 70 already, and it's not going to rip your face off. I always say that about cars, it's not going to rip your face off. It isn't the fastest thing in the world, but it will very, very easily keep up with the traffic. And I can't see you not necessarily not wanting more power. There's a huge traffic jam that way, so we'll go this way. I don't think you won't not want loads of power. I get that. I get the SVRs and stuff. I understand it, but if you just want to daily drive and enjoy a car, this is the perfect middle ground, I think, for Range Rover Sports. And, you know, it's hard to say it isn't really expensive, because it is incredibly expensive, this Range Rover. It is hilariously expensive, but there's also that side of it where most of these are leased. This has actually got leasing badges all over it, so I'm assuming it's leased. And there's that side of it where you are just going to finance and lease a brand new car. You know, I would never say put your own money into one of these, or you will lose a lot. The depreciation is hilarious. I'll put it back into sport, because it says sport on the back, so, you know, why not? Smallest lead on to a dual carriageway here. It's like the Isle of Wight, everyone does 30 up the dual carriageway, it's fine. But yeah, it's a refined product from Land Rover. You know, the pre-facelifts, I'm not trying to say a pre-facelift is any better or worse than this. There is a big price difference between this one. They get pre-facelift for around 30 grand. This is about 70 brand new. I think a second-hand facelift is around 50s already. So, you know, you could save some money there. Yes, I know I'm saying save money, but it is a reality that I'm not pissing in the wind here at the end of the day. I am seeing these literally everywhere. I see 10, at least 10 on the school run. So I'm not talking, or at least preaching to people that aren't buying these. In fact, there's a Velour right there, there's an Evoque just down there, there's a Discovery just down there. All of those cars new, apart from the Evoques and stuff, you know, maybe the lesser models, I would say, they're all the same sort of money as this, you know, 60, 70 grand, and people have bought them. They're right there, right in front of me. So I think the reality of me actually shooting this car is there is a market for it. And I do think if you have the money for one of these, and you've always wanted a Range Rover, and you don't, you know, the stigma behind it is, oh, you've got a Chelsea Tractor Range Rover and all that sort of stuff, I find it hard to beat a car like this when you start having kids and you start working hard and all this sort of stuff. I find it hard to beat this. But in that sense, in the next couple of days, I am shooting a Macan and various sort of 4x4s, or at least newer cars like this that you would pitch against it. So it's quite nice in that sense to jump in this and then jump in those cars. We'll go back down the dual carriageway. That was literally a lap of the dual carriageway, by the way. It's very, very small, unfortunately. Pop it back into sport, you just flip it across. You can't change down just from non-sport mode like you can in a pre-facelift. I did notice that. So third gear, say diesel power, 40, 50, 60. It's very refined, it's very easy, the power is nice. And I know that's not what we're here for, and I know that's not why you guys are watching this, but it's always nice to know you can sort of gallivant on if you so wish to. And all of the interior qualities of this, it's really, really nice here. It's so refined. Yeah, I'm a fan. Also, last thing I'm going to leave you with, guys, is the fact that they changed, or at least I've noticed they've changed the headrests in this. So the headrests themselves are actually padded, like full-on padded, like a Vogue. That is a nice feature. But I'm going to leave you guys with that. If you did like this style of video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you all on the next one.